Good evening and welcome to our Dragon Charts Daily Asian Stock Analysis. This evening we will be looking at several stocks traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. All of these stock picks came from the new Dragon Charts software scanning application, also known as Dragon Scan, and that's what you're taking a look at right here. This is kind of a sneak preview. This is not available to the public yet, but it will be released within the next week or two in beta stage. There's nothing else like it in Asia. Basically, we have several ways to scan for stocks. We can select the country, such as China, and then Hong Kong, Shanghai, Shenzhen. Okay, let's say Hong Kong. And then we can select the index, and we can select the type of scan, relative strength, breakout. That's a criteria that we use to look for stocks that are breaking out above a base of consolidation, so that'll be your strongest stocks in the market. Pullback scan would be for stocks that are trending higher but are actually on a pullback to support of a moving average. And a trend reversal would be after stocks have been in a downtrend for a period of time. This will help you find stocks that are reversing and starting to head back up. And then we can add criteria such as price range, minimum price filters, volume filters, and then we have technical scans as well. Again, we select the country or the region. Let's say we want to look at Shanghai. And what we do here is we can select moving averages. We want to make sure the stock's above a certain moving average. We can do also types of scans where we look at things like the volume range, price range, percentage of the 52-week high, relative strength rating. So we've got all different types of scans, and very customizable by just moving the sliders. And then we simply hit the Scan Now button, and we get a list of all the stocks that meet our criteria, as you can see here. And when it's finished, we'll be able to simply click on any of these ticker symbols and see a stock right away for the stocks that meet our criteria. So it's very exciting. Like I said, there's nothing currently like this in Asia for the average retail investor. Normally to get something like this, you need to be an institutional investor working with a big bank or a mutual fund, but this is going to be available very soon. So stay tuned for an announcement on this. And when it is available, everybody will be able to try it out for a free trial period. And we will keep you posted. Keep coming to these Dragon Chart stock scanning sessions for more details on when this is available to the public. But in the meantime, what I would like to do is show you a couple stocks that the scan returned. Let's go ahead and start with ticker number 425, returned as being one of the strongest stocks right now and a potential breakout setup. This is Mint Group Limited, number 425, traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. What we like about this setup is we're looking at a potential breakout above consolidation and a trend reversal. And if we draw a horizontal line on our chart, okay, we can go here. And by the way, the trading software we're using here is called Interactive Brokers. And many of our clients who use our scanning software open an account with Interactive Brokers. We can help you with that. We can assist you with that. They have some of the best charting tools available for technical analysis and great order executions as well. So what we're looking at here is number 425. Mint Group is about ready to break out above a horizontal base of consolidation. And notice the resistance level here is pretty clearly defined around 1340. What we like about this in particular is down here, notice the high volume. We had volume spikes 1, 2, 3, 5 days in a row. Volume was much higher than average. And as the stock volume increased, the price went up. The stock moved above its 20-day moving average, its 50-day moving average, and above its 200-day moving average. And now it's consolidating for the past week near its highs. And this is positive price action, especially because what we see here is the last couple days, as the price is consolidating, the volume dries up. That's what we want to see. We want to see higher volume on the breakout, lighter volume during the sideways consolidation. That indicates that the bulls, the people who are buying the stock, are not driving the stock lower as soon as they have the opportunity to. Rather, they're simply taking a rest from driving the price action higher. And what we're looking at here is a potential breakout entry We like this for potential buy entry above the high of the past 5 days, which is right over the around 1350 or so. When we see that breakout, what we would expect to happen is for bullish momentum to kick this much higher, because it would be the fourth attempt, actually fifth attempt at breaking out above this resistance level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this time it's got the volume to do it. Another stock we'd like to take a look at to keep on our radar screen is number 1212. This is Lifestyle International Holdings. And we can see here with this one that, again, it's another potential breakout above a short-term base of consolidation. Notice here with this horizontal line that the stock is actually poised to break out. It looks like today it actually probed above on an intraday basis, went above the high of this line, but came back down. That's okay. Sometimes the first attempt doesn't work. But if we actually get a closing price above the high of this 2-month consolidation period, above, let's say, 24, then we like that for potential buy entry. It's likely going to make another leg higher. And this chart is also a good example of how a prior level of resistance becomes the new level of support after the resistance is broken. Notice here, if we look at the longer term chart, we can draw a horizontal line. This is a chart going back about 1 year to August of 2010. And we see a very clearly defined resistance level that was in place here, right around 20.6. We had a failed breakout above the resistance here. Another failed attempt. Stock went above it for 3-4 days and came back down. Here we ran into resistance. Here we ran into resistance. And finally, on the fifth attempt, the stock made it back up. And what it enabled it to push back above this horizontal resistance level was support of the rising 200-day moving average. Notice how this orange line, the 200-day moving average, rose up to provide support to the price, and that enabled the stock to eventually push through and break out above resistance. And what's interesting here is notice now on this pullback right here and right here, notice how the stock failed to go below this horizontal line. And that's a good example of how a prior level of resistance becomes the new support after the stock breaks through it. So now we wouldn't expect the stock to go lower than this 20.6 area. So notice how it's forming a new base of consolidation between 2360 and around 2060, this sideways range here. And we could say that the stock did the same thing back here before it actually broke out. Notice how we had the same kind of range going. We had this range and then finally broke out. Now it's made another leg up. So we would expect the same thing to happen, except it may not take as long this time for the stock to push higher because momentum is picking up as it starts to move higher within its ascending trend. So we're always looking at basic indicators like support and resistance, very important for us in making our decisions for analysis. Support, resistance, trend lines, and moving averages are the main indicators we use to look for stocks that are on the move. One more stock, and that is number 1038. It's Jiankong Infrastructure. And this is another good example of a stock breaking out above resistance. Here again, we have almost the same kind of pattern going where the stock is in an uptrend. 4 times it tried to break out above horizontal resistance. On the 5th attempt it made it. And now if we look at the more recent price action, we see the stock pulled back just, what was it, 2 weeks ago actually, pulled back to support of this breakout level, which is probably actually drawn right around here, and held support, and now it's actually moved higher above this short-term resistance. So the last stock we looked at has a very similar pattern to this one, except it has not yet moved above this horizontal line. It came up and pulled back down. But what will likely happen is that previous stock that we looked at, which was number 1212, Lifestyle International, may follow suit in the same type of pattern that you see here, pushing above this horizontal level of resistance. So just to reiterate, we are not stockbrokers. We don't give specific stock recommendations to buy or sell. But what we do is we empower traders through education, teaching them about technical analysis, and through using our scanning application that I showed you earlier, we enable traders to find the best technical setups out there, saving lots of time. Rather than going through the charts of thousands of stocks, we can find the strongest stocks with the click of a button. So stay tuned for the upcoming release of this software. Thank you for joining us this evening, and we'll see you at the next Dragon Charts webinar.